It is often the case where people will ask whether we are being mean to Erika Kirk. Mean. Mean suggests and implies that we are being, by virtue of our disagreement with her and our critique of her delivery, that our anger or our discussions are baseless. They're not a part of anything in particular. They're not a part of any rational basis. There's no substantive reason or basis for our disdain for her style or the lack of authenticity or legitimacy to what she's playing. No, it's not that. It's pure performance based. This is the part I'm trying to understand. She really recently was on Fox News. I saw this. I don't remember the fellow's name. I'm sorry. I never watch it, so I don't know his name. But I watched the clip on YouTube, and as I told you, I don't post the clip and then I respond to it. I wish rather would just talk to you. You go watch it some other time. There's something that bothers me about it. Anyway. But when you look at it, when you watch this spectacle of hers, you're not watching an interview, you're watching choreography. Every smile rehearsed, performative, every pause engineered. And we're supposed to sit there like some kind of obedient consumer and nod in obeisance as if this is transparency. Transparency. The word gets thrown around like confetti, but nobody really stops to ask, what does it really mean? What are we trying to say? Why is she not connecting? Transparency is not a lighting setup, durable makeup, the hanky, a friendly anchor feeding you softballs. Transparency is not a camera angle that flatters you while you recite talking points, or a camera angle that has that fuzzy beauty lens or whatever these things are. No. Transparency is friction. It is uncomfortable. It is messy. It's the sound of truth scraping up against power. And what we saw in this one interview with Fox, and like others, because that's where she'll go because she is just loved. She is not even challenged. But what I saw in that interview wasn't friction, it was lubrication. Interesting metaphor. It was a performance designed to glide smoothly. Think Astrolube for the conversational set. It was designed to smoothly glide across the screen and into the bloodstream of the audience. And no, this unctuous, penguin, greased sample. And if you watch her body language, I'm not talking about amateur psychology here. No, I don't mean that. What I'm talking about is just watch her in any interview. I'm talking about the universal grammar of human discomfort that we know and we recognize. When the conversation drifts into safe territory, the face relaxes. The gestures widen. And the voice kind of floats, lilting, if you will. But the moment the topic sharpens, shoulders tighten, the eyes narrow. Have you seen that? Those eyes, the death, the malocchio, the evil eye, the rhythm stutters. That's not proof of guilt. It's proof of pressure. And pressure is where the interesting questions live. You see, I've watched her before, and again, I'm wondering, why is TPUSA letting her on anything? Whenever you watch a host, the host will ask a question that's less a question than a guided tour. You see, he'll build the answer in layers, build it in real time. He hands her the vocabulary, his transparency, a truth-seeking, public record. All she has to do is step into the mold, and they'll do the rest, and just say yes. And she does, time after time. And of course, she does it most obligingly. And you better do that, because if you mess with her, well, this is TPUSA. What are you talking about here? What else is she going to say when provided this? No, I kind of prefer opacity. No, I would rather the public stay in the dark. Yeah, that's what she's going to be saying. To be honest with you, Dave or Trace or Sean or whatever, that's what I think. The script writes itself, and you see it time after time. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that fascinates me. It's not the answer. It's the urgency. The urgency with which the answer is delivered. The insistence. The repetition. You see, when somebody tells you that they want full transparency, as she does in the trial of Tyler, full transparency, and when she says it 3 times in a row, you have to ask what ghost they are perhaps arguing with. Who's the invisible adversary in the room? What are you talking about? Because language like that is not just descriptive, it's defensive. And it's kind of like a no shit obviousness. I want transparency. No, you don't. Do you really want transparency? Erika? Seriously? About you? My friend, we live in an age where the courtroom and the camera lens are locked in a permanent embrace. Trials are no longer sealed chambers of law. They're public theaters. Public theaters where narratives compete, in essence, for oxygen. On one side, you have the institutional voice, slow, procedural, meticulous. On the other side, you have the digital chorus, fast, chaotic, frenzied, frenetic, relentless. And anyone caught between those two forces is going to feel the strain and feel the pain. Absolutely. The commentator usually in this particular moment tries his or her best to anchor herself to the authority of the court, one would think. They're saying, in effect, let the official process speak. Let the record stand. Let the record reflect. Okay? But the audience is that they're speaking to has been conditioned to distrust official proceedings all over the place. Do you know anybody who feels good about the FBI or the DEA or anything like that? Do you know anybody right now? Seriously. Anyone. Anyone who feels good about this? Do you know anybody who is listening? I'm serious. Who says, oh, courts are great. I feel like justice and due process, especially for that of the victim, will win 100%. Oh, absolutely. Nobody does. And I'm sorry to say that's the truth. Nobody does. For reasons that... So the thing that I'm saying, and let me also tell you something, you're not going to like when I tell you this, but it's the God's honest truth. I don't believe cameras exist anywhere in the courtroom. I used to believe in cameras. I used to believe in this transparency. I really did. I thought it made sense in essence. But when in fact what it did was it provides another platform for exaggeration and performance, and we don't need any more performances. I mean it. I mean it sincerely. I've come full circle on this one. The Sixth Amendment, I used to think, provides for a speedy and a public trial. And there's no better public trial than that of a courtroom and that of the camera. But as soon as that red light goes on, oh my God, everybody wants to audition. Everybody's trying to burnish the reel for their agent. I mean, it's just, no. I know this is counterintuitive, but I don't believe in cameras. Sorry. They are the worst. Again, counterintuitive. But you see, the people who are involved, especially in television commentary, are trained, I guess, by decades of scandal and spin to treat kind of polished, schmaltzy, fake messaging as a warning sign. You see, so the more polished the performance, the louder the skepticism grows. And that's what we're seeing. And skepticism is not a disease. It's a civic reflex, a healthy patellar reflex. Society is saying that it doesn't anesthetize its doubts. It interrogates them. It turns them over in the light and asks, what are we made of? What is this all about? It asks these incredible questions, these critical questions as to the depth and the relationship and the kind of like the integrity of what we're doing. You have to ask these questions, because the danger is when skepticism, hardens into certainty without evidence. We don't want that. When you are suspicious, you must understand that suspicion becomes a substitute for investigation. And that's the tightrope. That's the problem. Whenever you're talking about courtrooms and stuff, that's the tightrope they're walking. On one side, of course, is blind acceptance, and on the other is reflexive distrust. And I've got to stop myself from being in that category too often. The people who interview, remember that one long day, that marathon session of Erika, but the commentators are trying to navigate a path that's between them that represents kind of confidence without being arrogant. And you can forget it with her. I mean, theoretically, can you imagine Erika trying to show vulnerability without weakness? It's impossible. An impossible equation. Not with her, because she doesn't have it. And I'm not saying because she's not smart enough, but her emotions and herself, I don't want to say narcissism. I think that word is used far too much. But her self-love and her virulent hyper admiration of herself, that gets in the way. Every public figure who steps into the spotlight is trying to deal with it in real time, solve the situation, maintain some respect, all in real time. And what intrigues me most, I think, is the collision, I guess for lack of a better word, between personal tragedy and public branding. Grief in private is raw and incoherent, and it's normal, and that's the way it is. Grief in public is performative. It is choreographed. It has to be. The camera demands coherence. It demands a narrative arc. So the grieving individual becomes a spokesperson, a symbol, a focal point for a collective emotion or whatever the hell it is. And in that transformation, something essential is always lost, every single time. You see, the viewers who watch her, they sense that loss. They feel the gap, the chasm, the schism between the human being and the public persona. And they rush to fill that gap with interpretation. And that's where it gets dangerous. You see, some will fill it with sympathy, others with suspicion. I was very sympathetic towards Erika at first until I heard her speak, until I saw what was going on, until I saw what was happening at and regarding TPUSA. And when they tried to ram Ben Shapiro and others were, and by the way, I have nothing against Ben Shapiro or Laura Loomer or others, but come on. Charlie would have had nothing to do with this. And it showed me who was really running the show and what they wanted. I've said this before and I will say it again. It is imperative for Erika Kirk to understand that you have escaped this for too long. You have to go away. You're coming across as the fundraiser, as the CEO, and not the bereaved spouse, the spouse who must explain to her children that daddy's not coming home. That's lost in this. That's lost in this melody, and I don't think you understand it. Let me tell you what also I predict. TPUSA is over with. It's over with. That's why they're grasping furiously to get this thing taken care of, but it's not going to last. It's not going to last for a variety of reasons. And it's not going to last because of the fact that without Charlie, there is no TPUSA. And you know this, my friend, and I know it. And Erika, for the love of God, every time you speak, you hand Candace Owens another award-winning blockbuster show with her millions of devotees who listen to every word she says and look to her as the exemplar, so to speak, as the true, sincere voice of clarity. Every time she speaks, Candace's numbers go through the roof. Erika, I don't think that's what you want. because her numbers go up while yours go down. My friend, I would love to see what you think about this. Am I being too harsh, or am I exactly over the target? You let me know. I've got questions for you to answer in the comment section. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel. It means so much. I really mean it. Subscribe to the channel. And it would be such an honor if you could weigh in with your thoughts and comments and lend your brilliance to the landscape of pellucidity, or whatever the hell that means. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much. And now comment as you see fit.